Okay, so I'm going to talk about the XT3 and the 55 to 140, or is it 50 to 140? Um, so the XT3, I really love this combination with this lens. I use it quite a bit, especially for wedding. I just set this up with a time lapse, get with the groom or the bridal party, and just set it with a zone focus or tracking on the groom, and just let it go. And it gets a lot of the expressions when I only have one photographer, so it'll be me. So I usually use this with time lapse. Images are really great. I'll show a couple in the next video, but I love the XT3. I was able to rig it so the focus is a little bit better than the XH1. I still can't trust it in low light. I've been trying as much as I can to test it out and go with it, but if you look at the video, the dials, there's a lot of people that like, oh, they look really cool, and yes, the aesthetics and the vintage feel. I just like it because I can see, I can adapt real quick. I love using the dials on the left and right, or the right, front and back, for shutter speed and stuff like that. But I'm used to Sony being able to do that. But with the XT3, I'm very much using the top dials. I don't use the compensation that much. I'll use it negative -0.3, depending on your aspect. I do love this front dial right here. I very much have gotten used to it. I rarely ever use manual unless I'm on a tripod, but for the most part, it's on continuous or single shot if somebody's going to stand still. But grooms usually kind of twitch and move and go back and forth, so I'll have it on continuous tracking for that. I use Peak Design. You can kind of see it right here. I like Peak Design. I've actually had a custom build a couple of straps, and one of them has saved my life, literally saved my life. And I'll talk about that strap later on down the road. But what I like about the XT3 is this flip out screen. You see the little button right there on the left hand side top part of it. I can flip it out and do portrait mode with it, really low angles, or I can flip it to the side. I use the grip when I do the flip to the side, but I don't have the grip on here right now. The downside, other than no IBIS in the XT3, is battery. I'll come back to talk about that. So this is the 50 to 140, and I love this lens. I don't know what the equivalent is. I think it's like 80 to 2 something. I got the teleconverter on there because I do wildlife from time to time, but this lens is my workhorse. Oh my goodness, the images from here are super sharp. I'm gonna do a video over just the 50 to 140 and the images, but I love this, and I love that it has OIS, image stabilization, iOS, and it's weather resistant. I have taken this and the XT3 out to some questionable conditions, and it really runs pretty well. I do have one or two downsides, and I'm going to talk about those here in a second, but it's heavy, but I usually use it on the tripod quite a bit, and you can see the tripod leg here in a few moments. The red badge, it's worth it. I don't know. I bought this secondhand, um, almost as much as it is new, so I could have bought it new. But right here on the bottom of where the foot is, there is the problem. Those little screws come undone all the time. They just come loose. I don't know why. It's just every time I go, the little screws on the bottom right here, they just go loose. I can never tell you exactly what it is about them, but I do love this lens. I always have it at 2.8 to 4, and the filter size is huge. I mean, it's a massive filter size. I have one 3-stop ND and then a UV filter on here. This lens, like I said, is a workhorse. It is a beast. I love it. I love using it in wedding photography, and I don't know if there's anything else good to say. I put it on the XT3 because the XT3 doesn't have IBIS, and so that's why it's always on the XT3. And the XT3's weather seal for the most part. This is a great lens. I don't know 100% if it's weatherproof, but I have taken it out when it's been raining. We did a couple of bird shoots with it in a teleconverter, and I can reach pretty far out with it, being a APS sensor. But I really do love this combination of lens and camera. I can't say anything bad about them. The video comes out really, really sharp. I'm going to show a wedding video here in a couple of days where I actually did just some mariachis and some other groups just with the 55 to 140 just video on them, and it's super sharp. The colors come out great. The tint is really beautiful out of this. I I have put a couple of, I don't want to say LUTs, but a couple of, I guess, color corrections with this camera setup, and I really like it. It does not go well without the battery grip. I'm gonna let you know you need either a tripod or you need a battery grip for this setup. I carry this with tripod all the time. This is sitting on an Arca Swiss plate at the bottom, and I put it on tripod every single time. I do love it. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's a great. It's a great lens combination. So this last thing I'm going to talk about, I kind of just threw it in here, but this is the 18 to 55. I use this mainly on a gimbal with the X-T3 because it doesn't have in-body stabilization, and I'll turn this on from time to time depending on how fast I'm moving. It helps out a little bit with the gimbal. Most times I just keep it off. But the last part on this is the kit that I have for it. I use the lens hood and an ND filter and a UV filter just to protect the glass, but this kit lens is definitely not a kit lens. This is made great, and I wish Sony and Canon and Nikon would learn something from them. This is a great lens overall. It's really sharp. It does go all the way to 4.0 when you're zooming in, but when you're doing video, I mean, to be honest with you, you have the ND filter. It's fine. I'm not looking for any kind of cinematic stuff. But I appreciate you watching. You have a great day. I know the video is kind of long. I'll show some sample images of each one of these next time, especially the 50 to 140, especially video coming up after this wedding I'm doing. You have a great night. Thank you. Bye.